Welcome back. What is this, MMA calculator?
I think it did Attic MMA.
Oh, MMA Attic. Get in our attic.
Welcome back. We're here covering our betting results for UFC Fight Night Louisville and PFL Europe 2. After last week's abysmal results, we were looking for a big bounce back week. Did we pull it off? With 2 cards and 14 bets to cover, let's jump right into it. First, let's quickly run through the PFL Europe card. We were not able to watch this card, so we will just go over the bets and the card in general. The model was able to give us predictions on 10 out of the 15 originally scheduled fights. Dean Garnett versus Aiton DePapi was canceled after DePapi missed weight. We had a bet on him, but it was returned. Next, Luke Shanks pulled out of his fight with Dominic Wooding. The model had Wooding as the favorite, and we placed a bet. But when Shanks was replaced by Julian Pierre Lopez, we were unable to get new numbers. So our first bet to get action was the first fight of the card, Paulina Wineska versus Dee Begley. Paulina was an undefeated prospect at 2-0 against the 4-5 Begley. Paulina brought her Polish power and finished the fight in the second round. Next up, we had Karolina Wojcik versus Lizzie Gevers. The model had the advantage going to Lizzie, and we placed a bet on her as an underdog. Once again, Polish power was on display, and while not quite as convincing as Paulina, it was enough for Karolina to get the decision victory. Lastly, we had Dylan Tuke versus Kane Musa. The model liked Tuke as the favorite, so we placed a bet, and he was able to get it done by decision. Starting off with the prelims for UFC Louisville, the model nailed the first 4 picks. Unfortunately, the judges thought that as long as Pooja yelled loudly, it didn't matter if the strikes actually landed. To her credit, she did have a nice sidekick in the third round. The 2 bets we had were on Denise Gomez and Daniel Marcos. For Gomez versus Mora, Mora missed weight again, this time by only half a pound. She attempted to be a weight bully, trying to wrestle and overpower Gomez, but the tough weight cut seems to have affected her. She gassed, and Gomez was able to defend nearly all of the takedown attempts. In the next fight, Marcos blasted Castaneda early, and the momentum was in his favor until the very end of the fight. Castaneda threw a head kick that rocked Marcos and gave him a chance to finish the fight, but there wasn't enough time left to close it out. For the next set of prelims, the model was once again perfect, and this time the judges didn't steal any fights. We made wagers on De La Rosa and Klein. De La Rosa was able to get an early takedown, but Lee had good scrambles. This ended up with Rosa chasing a triangle attempt, but she was unable to secure it. The rest of the fight was mostly spent on the feet, with Lee stuffing the naked takedown attempts of De La Rosa, but eventually Lee was too tired to resist the takedowns. De La Rosa's striking looked improved, and we wish Andrea Lee luck in her future PFL career. Next, we had Klein nearly get Moises out of the fight at the end of the first. The new gloves seemed to be robbing us of knockouts without stopping the eye pokes. Klein has heavy power that he is able to throw with control. Combine that with his great takedown defense, and we are excited to see him fight up in the rankings. On to the main card, where the model went 50-50 on picks. Our bets were on Soriano, Reese, Stolfus, Rosas Jr., and Cannonier. Starting out with Soriano, we were starting to get concerned. We were leaning on Soriano's KO ability to get this ticket cashed, and the new UFC gloves seemed to hate knockouts. Soriano seemed to be in trouble early with some knee bar and heel hook attempts by Baeza, but he just ignored the submissions and continued to pummel Baeza. At one point, it looked like he might get the KO from his back, a la Kevin Holland. After that, Soriano was not scared of anything Baeza offered on the ground, so he immediately shot a takedown in round 2. Ultimately, Soriano outstruck Baeza 144-7 and got the unanimous decision victory. I'm not sure I can finish this sentence faster than Zach Reese finished his fight with Julian Marquez. Even the softest gloves in MMA couldn't get Reese to see the second round of a fight. We are going strong at this point, hitting on 5 out of 5 wagers placed so far. Next up, we bet against the gas tank of Bruno Ferreira. Stolfos made it a very competitive fight and even looked to be in control for most of the first round. But Ferreira is a dangerous man and was able to land several devastating shots late in the first to close out the fight. This fight also broke our win streak. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Turcios is our next fight, and Turcios took it personal from the very start. Rosas reached for the glove touch, and Turcios started firing off head kicks. Both times Turcios had back control, he was dropping 12-6 elbows to the back of Rosas' head. In the first, Turcios had a tight rear naked choke on Rosas, and instead of going 2-on-1 or any normal RNC defense, he just used his chin and kept throwing punches back towards Turcios. In the second, Rosas got the back, and Turcios just didn't have the chin to resist the choke. On a side note, congrats to Dominic Reyes. Our betting model, along with nearly everyone else, picked against him, but he went out and secured a dominant victory. He looked like the undefeated Reyes who made his initial run to the title. Hopefully this confidence carries him, and we get to see him compete at the top of the division again. For the last fight of the night, Cannonier started out strong, winning the striking battle and clinch game in the first round. Multiple warnings from the ref to Imavov proved the new gloves are useless at preventing or even discouraging eye pokes. While he was never able to land the eye poke, he did manage to thumb the mouthpiece right out of Cannonier's mouth. Overall, it was a good, competitive fight, but the tide had certainly turned in the third and fourth round, with Imavov finding his timing and range. Unfortunately, Jason Herzog, normally one of the best refs in the game, robbed both fighters. First, he robbed Imavov of a true highlight finish against a very dangerous opponent. And second, he robbed Cannonier, who was still actively defending himself and throwing back some offense, the chance to land a big counter shot and turn the fight back in his favor. Taking a look at the numbers for this weekend's wagers, after fight cancellations, the model was able to pick 7 out of 8 fights correctly for PFL Europe. We got action on 3 of our wagers, winning both of our favorites and losing the only underdog. We risked 4.05 units, returned 5.05 for a profit of 1 unit. On UFC Louisville, the model got 10 out of 14 predictions correct for a healthy 71% accuracy. We cashed on 7 of 9 wagers, all 3 favorites, and 4 out of 6 underdogs. We risked 10.64 units and returned 17.29 units for a profit of 6.65 units. When we add those numbers into our all-time results, we get 96 correct picks out of 143 total fights. We've cashed on exactly half of our wagers, 38 out of 76. 15 out of 17, or put another way, over 88% of our favorite bets paid, while only 23 of 59 underdog wagers have cashed. This may seem bad, but underdog bets pay much more than favorites, so we are still very profitable with only 39% success rate on underdogs. Our goal is to get our underdog wagers as close to 50% as possible. Stick around to see how close we can get. Finally, we've wagered 85.16 units in total, returning 95.52 units. This is nice profit of 10.36 units, or 12%. I want to thank everyone for watching and all of you who have subscribed. We are just a couple of hardcore MMA fans who have been casually betting for years. We decided we wanted to take our bets to the next level and see if we could get one over on the bookies. We're posting our picks and results every week, so if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now because we have PFL and UFC picks videos coming at you this week.